that their constitutional rights can be erased and eroded, one illegal executive order at a time. We were thinking about the message we wanted to send to every community across California who's afraid to simply exist. I think today our message is pretty clear. You are not alone. California will not abandon you. This body will not abandon you. You have rights, and we will fight to protect and defend those rights, even when it's hard. And that's a message that's rooted in love, a message rooted in compassion and opportunity. It's a message purer than misinformation, more powerful than divisive rhetoric. The California message. And I'm proud to stand on this floor today and deliver that message to all of the Californians who are looking for us to do what's right, to do it when it's hard, to do it when it's polarized, to do it when it's misconstrued, misrepresented, and used to demonize and criminalize whole communities. That is when our work is the most important. That is what we were elected to do. And I respectfully ask for our vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bryan. Assemblymember Essayli, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Not only have we heard a lot of gaslighting today, we've also heard a lot of fear-mongering. And the reason communities are scared right now is they're being given misinformation about what's actually happening at the federal level. There are not raids going on at elementary schools. That's not true. People are not being indiscriminately picked up. What's happening is an organized effort to get criminals who are here unlawfully out of our communities and out of the country. And we would not, the federal government would not need to go into the community if California would cooperate with the government and hand the criminals over in the jails. If we would just hand the criminals over in jail to ICE, ICE would not need to go into the community, which would scare people. So that's a result of policies of this body. But since we're going to talk about the Constitution, it's been invoked many times today, and the member of Corona has been asked about it, I'm happy to discuss it, these executive orders. You guys have referred to birthright citizenship issue. The executive order signed by the president is consistent with the 14th Amendment, which says any person born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof is a citizen. What does subject to the jurisdiction thereof mean? It means something. It doesn't mean nothing. And that's what the courts will wrestle with. No court in the United States has ever said illegal immigrants who step foot in the United States and have a child are automatically entitled to citizenship. That is not the intent of the framers of the 14th Amendment. This issue has now been teed up to go to the Supreme Court. That is what we're going to litigate. That is the issue to be resolved. So I ask you, what does it mean? I'm happy to have that debate with you. Subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Look it up. But we can talk about the Constitution. I'm encouraged that there's a renewed effort to defend the Constitution. I love it. I love it. I hope we're going to defend the entire Constitution. The Second Amendment, the Electoral College, minority rights. I love it. Let's defend it. Let's make it mean something. But the reason we need the amendments that were proposed by the minority party is because we don't have clarity on these programs. I was on the Budget Committee. I asked the governor's staff, can you assure me none of this money will be used to defend criminal illegal immigrants? And they said, we cannot give you that guarantee. This money will be used to pay for attorneys to defend illegal immigrants from deportation proceedings. We need assurances that they are not going to defend criminal illegal immigrants in deportation proceedings. And we just had an opportunity to add that clarity into the bill, and it was rejected by this body. It's my understanding the governor actually supports the clarification that we proposed. The governor wants it, so why aren't we doing it? Is it because we were threatened by the Senate? The Senate said, don't you dare change it and send it over? Well, who's in charge? Us or the Senate? We should make the changes and send it over. We should do the right thing. Nobody who elected you wants you spending money on criminal illegal immigrants. Find me one person. I don't think there is. So we need to now, unfortunately, reject this bill because it doesn't have the amendments that are required to protect our tax dollars. So with that, I urge a no vote, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Essayli. Assemblymember Bonta, you are recognized.
Members, I rise today to speak in support of SBX 1-2. Our vote in support of this bill is essential. It is as essential as the immigrants who fuel this economy in our state and who contribute every single day to our very livelihoods. Immigrants help keep the state running and fund, ultimately, that funding goes to help both documented and undocumented communities. Immigrants as a whole continue to contribute nearly $1 trillion to the California economy each year. Undocumented immigrants alone contribute $8.5 billion in state and local taxes in 2022, a number that would rise actually to $10.3 billion if these taxpayers were granted work authorization. And as health chair, I have to mention, our workforce is entirely dependent in many sectors on our immigrant community. 50% of certified nursing assistants in California's nursing homes are immigrants. 47% of direct care workers are immigrants, including 46% of nursing assistants and 47% of personal care aides who are foreign-born. Our state literally runs on the backs of immigrants. Our healthcare system is entirely dependent on our immigrants, who we cannot afford to not support this bill. This funding is an incredibly small fraction of that $1 trillion contribution. I'm voting for this bill because I support helping the struggling college student who qualifies for a visa, but never knew he qualified nor had the resources to pay for the application. I support the mother escaping violence who turns to legal aid organization for help getting on her feet. And despite what our colleague from Corona said, and our colleague from San Diego said, fear-mongering and chaos is how we are operating today in the United States with these executive orders that have come one after the other to teach us as immigrants, as undocumented, that we do not belong. That we are people who need to be in the dark while we contribute every single day to this economy. Every single day to the fabric of our society. Make no mistake, afoot in this United States today is a purpose, an intentional purpose, to keep us in the dark, to keep us in the shadows. And California, for far too long, has stood boldly to ensure that every person who contributes to our economy and our society belongs here in our California. That is the California that I belong to. That is the California that this bill supports. To ensure that our community members have the ability to know that they have the resources to support them. And make no mistake, a letter to the Journal is actually clarifying, qualifying intent language that ensures that we know how to spend that money. Criminal illegals. The last time I checked, it was the position of this federal administration that anyone who is undocumented and entered into this country illegally or by other means is actually an illegal and a criminal. That is the position that we are fighting against. That is the position that we need to make sure that we are resourcing in this very moment. I know my district feels this every single day. I had a mother call me and say, I'm worried about my son going into a government building because of the draconian immigration policies and the raids that she saw. Teachers in my district want to be able to reassure their children and their families that it's okay to go to school. But in reality, they are scared too. So today, we must rise and we must support this measure.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bonta. Assemblymember Gipson, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise in support of SBX12 by Reno. On the matter that lies on the hearts of our nation, identity, immigration. From the very foundation of this great country, immigrants have been the architects of progress. The hand that has built our cities, our states, our country. And the mind that ignites our innovation. They are not just a number on a page. They are vibrant threads that woven in the fabric of this society, in this country. Immigrants are not just Latinos, it's those from Nigeria, Filipinos, Chinese, Ethiopia. These are our brothers and our sisters. Immigrants bring with them a dream of aspirations, a spirit that fueled our economy with rich history. They remind us that diversity is our strength in this state, with a different perspective of fostering creativity and resilience in this state of California that we love, that we embrace. In every corner of our state, of our land, you will find the stories of triumphs of our families who have overcome diversity and contribute greatly to this country, to this state that we love, that we call the Golden State. California has always been a beacon of light and hope, and has led in this space to protect our brothers and sisters. Makes no difference the language you speak. Makes no difference who your mama, who your daddy is, your zip code. You belong here. This is home. And we say this without pause or any reservation. Immigrants, workers contribute over $1 trillion to California's economy. Immigrants, they are our brothers and our sisters. They are the people we go to church with, the people we go to school with. They teach our children. They care for our crops and our fields. And when we have the audacity to go to expensive hotels, they're the ones who clean our room after we leave. They're the ones who serve us the food that we eat each and every day. It's mind-boggling to me that we're having a debate on something that is so right. And we're buying into this divisive and division that has poisoned the very fabric of this country. Our democracy is being challenged. And I'm trying to look at every one of you in your eyes, and even those who may vote against it. It is our responsibility. Damn it, we protect the least of these. The society has labeled invisible, insignificant, and left for dead. We stand up, and it's our responsibility to do just that, to stand up. They build their lives, leaving their own country, coming to a familiar country, and making it. They're the store owners. They're the people who own car dealerships, even in my community, the bakers. And it's our responsibility to making sure, not any of us, when we go to a hospital, are we asking whether or not those individuals care for us, carry a green card, or are they citizens? No, because they're going to care for you regardless. Regardless if you're a Democrat or Republican, they're going to care for you whether or not you voted for the guy, whatever his name is. They're going to care for you regardless because they care.
30 seconds.
And if we forget, we can't go back. Because I'm reminded in my own culture of what happened in 1963 with Emmett Till. I'm reminded and what happened in 1965 in the Watts riot, Breonna Taylor, and the list goes on and on. So we won't go back. I strongly encourage you to please vote aye.
Thank you, Assemblymember Gipson. Assemblymember